weapon power on the Batiste. Also, Ryan, we've been talking about how heavily he was nerfed coming into 2.10. We're still seeing him picked in specific scenarios. What are our thoughts on these drafts, boys? How do we feel this one's going to be panning out? We'll start with you this time, Bacon.
This is probably one of the drafts that, if I had to predict drafts for all of Worlds, this would not be anywhere near on my radar, because these picks are fairly unconventional, and only from these two teams are we going to see something like this.
I'll go with Impunity here just because they have the Celeste, they have the Lyra, they can use their range advantage to counter the Rhyme, who is very susceptible to long-range heroes, so I'm going to go with Impunity.
All right, Impunity.
I'm going to say Impunity for pretty much exactly the same reason, the range advantage.
I'm going to Kraken because Rhyme is really good. Let's see those combos happen, and let's see if Kraken can take it to a best of 5.
All right, Sweej wants a full 5-game series. We'll see if that is going to come to pass. It's time to jump into game number 4 of our second quarterfinal. It's time to see Kraken against Impunity for the 4th time today.
So Impunity realize that goes down, they're just going to reset.
Here we go. Impunity, can they break the Arden run? Can they stop the unstoppable pick? It seems improbable, but Kraken, can they come back? This Rhyme, we've not seen it for a long time, but can it win again?
2.10 is Potato Rhyme. Remember that. 2.10 is kind of Potato Rhyme, but he is good into melee heroes. He is good into the likes of Batiste. I wouldn't be surprised to potentially see a double CP flex here. That's the joy of Batiste. They've got both that flexibility of a weapon power and a CP build path. You see the Rhyme come out, suddenly you might want to keep your range in general. Start using CP bad mojos and obviously having the range to Celeste coming out, and then they play that full ranged game. That could be a real thing that happens here.
Very well could be. We know who the crowd's behind. Impunity.
It's double CP! There we go!
Double crystal power, kind of speciality from SEA. We see a fair bit. This is Impunity's chance now to go to the semi-finals. If they win this game, it'll be a 3-1, but can Kraken take it to a game 5? We'll have to wait and find out.
I got way too happy about that.
It's okay.
I got way too happy about that prediction. They do start on the inside. We've seen this a lot from teams, especially the East Asian and Southeast Asian teams. They like to start at the Elder Treant and then rotate outwards to their jungle. And you can get punished by this by a very quick jungle clear, but no teams have been sort of brave enough to go for that invade. And so Impunity realize that goes down. They're just going to reset, head back to safe farming. Now, the reason that the CP Batiste flexes well here is simply because you want to keep your range against the Rhyme. If you play Weapon Power Batiste, you're playing right into the Rhyme and Rona. They have great melee dueling potential, and they can very easily take you on. CP Batiste gives you that ranged power of having the bad mojos. You play a little bit like a shorter range Celeste. You just spam those skill shots, and it's very difficult then, apart from a gauntlet engage, to find those good engages for Team Kraken. So I love that flexibility that the Batiste offers the draft here for Impunity. And again, it's another one of these examples of Impunity having the ability to experiment and be flexible with the way they play.
They're going to go straight for that Elder Treant yet again.
Ooh. Close there. Double Elder Treant though for Kraken, rotating on respawn. Great rotations here in the jungle for these guys. Going to give them that small golden experience advantage that prioritizing the Elder Treant does. Yeah.
I live for Lyra Sigil Steals.
Everyone loves Lyra Sigil Steal, my friend.
We haven't seen any of this game, this series, unfortunately.
So often when people talk about doubling up on the same damage, oh, that's really bad because it's easy to itemize defensively against it. There's only really one item that you can pick up as a carry that gives you defensive shielding, which is Aegis. And unless you want to go for another slot of tier 2 shielding just to prioritize defense, then obviously, you know, you're limited to what you can buy. But having a double CP means you don't have to really buy armor, which means it opens up another slot for you to pick up an aggressive item, an offensive item. That's often why people say that doubling up on the damage type is worse, simply because you give your opponents more flexibility in what they want to pick in terms of offensive items. They can open up more slots, and that means you could see even a full 3-item Rona before you even have to consider any extra shielding on top of the Aegis.
Kraken with perfect control early game. This is the kind of aggression that I wanted to see from them, which is just contesting the Elder Treant time and time again. But the thing is, Impunity can't really do that right now. They kind of have to scale up. That's what this what this Batiste and what this Celeste is going to do, and what they do best as well.
I love that they froze the lane so well there, just in front of their turret, while Mua rotated and shared those backs early on. Now she's going to get that full lane minions. She didn't really lose much on that rotation, and she got the gold, or he got the gold from the back there as well. So it was a really nice freeze by Team Kraken, and unfortunately Quarterfinals didn't have the opportunity to push that in too far.
There's a lot of CC coming out from Impunity as well that you can lay on top of each other.
Yeah, but that's why Aegis becomes even better, right? Because you've got double reflex block, you've got the obviously you're gonna need a Crucible this game too, but plenty of CC. You're completely right.
Yeah, Ordained straight into a core collapse. Nowhere you're gonna run. Another Elder Treant taken by Team Kraken. Impunity did want to try and contest that one, but right now they are behind in gold and behind on camps also. Look at the aggression. Yeah, exactly what we knew them for anyway. I mean, Kraken, maybe they've been a bit hesitant to come into this one, but this is their final chance to take this to a Game 5. They lose here, Impunity go through to the semi-finals tomorrow.
Yeah, they need to continue this beyond just trying to steal camps. They need to look for fights, they need to go for gold miner, they need to continue to look to put pressure. That's a great amount of pressure on Mua.
Oh, has to pop the flask. Very, very close. That's the CC chain that I was talking about. Abla is going to rotate up towards the lane as well. And so we haven't discussed yet, Xscoundrel, is the ability for Impunity to actually take turrets from range. It's going to be very hard for Kraken to actually do even chip damage to Impunity's turrets unless they actually push the wave completely up there and Impunity are rotated out of the lane.
Yeah, really, really good point there, George, because obviously as a triple melee composition, you put yourself in the firing line a bit more readily when trying to siege turrets, which is often why when you have these kind of compositions, you need to look for gold miner to force a fight to then snowball that into going for a siege onto a turret. Impunity look like they're trying to scale up this Celeste as quickly as possible, though. Massive CS advantages. Oh, wait a second.
Uh-oh. BC might be a little bit caught out. Valkyrie goes wide as he popped the boots. Ordain's going to be there as well. Bad Mojo onto 3.
There we go.
Nice fearsome shade as well. Hits 3 members. Bright Bulwark is going to snare them as well. No kills going either way just yet.
Quarterfinals finishing up the Crucible first means that the Valkyrie can get blocked. Valkyrie can be super impactful against the likes of Celeste, especially if you get the stun. But Impunity seems to be weathering this early storm as much as they can.
Into the face, straight on top of the Celeste. Did get away using that sigil put out from Quarterfinals. Lyra is going to be such a pain, especially when it gets the next couple of levels as well. Thing is, Mr. Dog is slightly ahead in XP in that regard as well. Got to keep that in mind.
He has been sharing the jungle experience from those heavy, aggressive jungle rotations.
Into play, straight on top of QC once more. That damage is ridiculous. Nice core collapse on 2. Solar Storm as well. It's going to hit Mua, but the Winter Spires are going to trade back a lot of damage as well. Ordain is there once again. Mua is a little bit caught out. Has got into the fray to get out of there if he chooses to use it. Just waits out the duration. They're going to reset.
Bouncing down right now for Team Kraken. Impunity have that regeneration of the Lyra. They're going to look for a siege onto this turret. They have a good opportunity to do so. The supernovas start ticking.
Oh, Mu is so low. Fearsome Shade doesn't quite catch him either. Mr. Dog is sent running. But look at how healthy that turret is right now. That's a 6 HP. They're just going to be able to just a couple of Heliogens to finish it off, and that'll be the first turret going down to Impunity.
Weathering that early Kraken aggression, and Kraken, they had such good early jungle rotations. Elder Treant on respawn, looking for pressure into the Impunity jungle, but Impunity didn't give them an inch. They didn't make any silly decisions. They didn't try to take fights that they knew that they couldn't win. And it came down to that lane brawl, and Impunity weathered it out and take the first turret. Because their siege is just that much better, it's much easier for Impunity to push onto a turret than it is for Team Kraken. This is a risk of a triple melee composition. A lot of it revolves around your ability to draw the enemy into a team fight. That's why you need to consider early gold miners. That's why you need to consider pushing into the enemy crystal sentry. A lot like Cloud9 does. They always do this. They make the enemy team come to them. Kraken haven't yet found that, and Impunity are relishing the opportunity for time to farm up.
Well, all the key cooldowns are available now. Dog, he has got that gauntlet. They have got that Valkyrie, but the early prioritization from Quarterfinals on that Crucible is going to stop a lot of that CC as well. And even Deathview has picked up his own reflex block. Oh, Bulwark used fairly early there. This could be pretty big. Valkyrie doesn't quite land. And nice fit shape to disengage yet again. Deathview has been on point. There's the gauntlet. Gets blocked! Impunity are now going to be able to march forward. Solar Storm hitting 3 members. They're going to be able to push forwards here. Dragon's Eye still stacking up. Can't quite find anything else though. They are in a corridor. Those Winter Spires are going to start to hurt. Into the fray used. Nice snare. And in fact, the Ordain isn't going to get the stun onto Mua just yet. I mean, Mr. Dog still charging forwards, but Heliogenesis are raining down. The sustains there from the Lyra. Nice stun, uses the Ordain as well. First blood to Impunity. Fearsome Shade sends Mua packing as well. Kraken, they lose another member. A double kill for Creasy. And that'll be Quarterfinals cornering Mua as well. This could be an extremely early ace. Ordain is there. Triple kill for Creasy. And Impunity start the game off strong.
And Impunity know exactly how to play around the compositions that Kraken are throwing them. Pacing backwards, disengaging when Rona drives in, and then when Rona's caught with no movement left, they're able to pace back and use those supernovas and the CC that they have. Crucible is a massive item for Mr. Dog right now. I think the most impactful part of that last fight was Def Q's two impactful parts. Def Q's original Fearsome Shade, followed by the Gauntlet cancel, which I think was from an Ordained. The only way I think you can cancel the Gauntlet was from the Ordained. You can do it with Bright Bulwark as well, but I believe Def Q threw down on Ordained on the Gauntlet cast.
You go Impunity rotating back up the lane now. Valkyrie is available, and Gauntlet is up in 10 seconds as well. Nice stun, core collapse onto Mua. Has to use it into the fray to get out of the action. Impunity now playing very aggressive. They know they got the power spikes. Eve of Harvest online as well as that piercing shard. So QC's doing a lot of damage at this time in the game.
Bulwark first here for Def Q as well. He's looking to get lots and lots of Ordains off. He's mainly looking to sort of protect and disengage for Kesey. He's not looking to go for the damage from the Shatterglass because it's against the heavy bruiser team. There's the block.
Fearsome Shade's going to get blocked. There comes the Gauntlet as well. The cage is being laid down. Creasy in a 1v3. Can't quite find the core class, but he's still alive. He trades 1-for-1 in the end. Excalibur, how did he do that? Def Q's moving forwards. Mua is going to have to retreat here. Babala, even him. Oh, Elder Tree. Oh, the tree end. That was so close, but it doesn't matter. Those bad mojos are already starting to stack up. Using the boots to get a little bit of distance. Nice route. Babala is invincible at this moment in time, but another Fearsome Shade rattles through Team Kraken into the fray, used to jump on top of Def Q. Mua finds his first kill of the game, and they're just going to chase Quarterfinals around. A little bit too late for the ace. Should be able to get out with a passageway, but they're just going to keep following this one up.
Yeah, not going to get the ace here. Quarterfinals should be able to get away as much as Mua wants to stress down. Oh, I tell you why Celeste can do that. This is a composition from Team Kraken that group up onto one target. They dive one target, they group up, all three of them are in a very small area. Celeste has got both a Dragon's Eye and an Eve of Harvest. People grouping up on top of her, it just gives her an easy area to land Supernova. Cast Heliogenesis on yourself, cast Core Collapse on yourself, cast Heliogenesis on yourself, you get huge damage, you get huge regeneration, and that's why Celeste was able to survive that long. And there's obviously no Poison Shiv as Rona goes for a Serpent's Mask. There's not going to be any reduction to that healing coming out from the Celeste. So she's just able to spam those Heliogenesis, survive for actually a pretty long time by herself. It was a great fountain by Quarterfinals nonetheless. And that's one of the reasons I think that also this composition does well for Impunity. You have a Lyra and a Celeste with Eve of Harvest. Poison Shiv is almost a necessity sometimes in these situations because the sustain is very, very strong.
Scary situation now as Def Q's actually picked up the Echo. This boot camp is paying off Excalibur. You can see it in Impunity's play. Kraken don't have an Echo of their own just yet. Mr. Dog, only a few hundred gold off actually completing it. Impunity with the advantage in that regard.
Impunity looking complete control here. 3,000 gold in the lead, and again, Def Q has gone for the Echo. Look at this. This is a guy that is committed to defending.
Gauntlet's going to get blocked by the Crucible. Quarterfinals out of the fight, same as Def Q. He's going to be able to get away using those boots. We did try and follow on up with the Into the Fray, but had to back off as the rest of his team were trapped up in the lane.
This is like a half CP, half utility. It's like two captains, but the second captain deals a bit of damage at the same time.
Another Ordain lands on Bubbler. Is going to let it time out. Valkyrie still available. Is going to get... Did end up going a little bit wide as well, and this could be Impunity with the advantage here. They are moving forwards. Winter Spires are landing. Another Ordain onto Bubbler. Core Collapse doesn't end up landing. Mua jumps straight in. The Red Mist is going to turn 3 people alive, but the Fearsome Shade was good. Another one lands as well. That sends Dog packing, and QC once more left all alone by the 5. Put the Core Collapse onto 2 people. Ends up killing Mr. Dog off, and now it's Mua, the last carry alive for Team Kraken, to clear up this fight, or at least try to. Bubbler was going crazy low, but Cruci is just surviving the entirety. The sustain coming out from the Celeste is way too much for them to deal with. Babalova is going to go down. A double kill and an ace for Cruci, and they're going to break open the base of Team Kraken.
There's nothing that Team Kraken can do here. Absolutely nothing. The sustain is just getting to unbelievable levels. The echo from DeathQ is so good at disengaging. Let's take a look again. The first fearsome shape was blocked, but the echo comes out, and the next one disengages. Yes, it disengages towards Celeste, but she's able to reset and get this great core collapse off that allows their DeathQ to get onto the sigil and regenerate. And this is where that sustain comes through for Impunity. There is no poison shiv, no way to stop the healing. You do have the mortal wounds from the Rona, but it is a limited application. You get it every so often. It's not like you can apply it consistently. So you have to make sure that you apply that mortal wounds and then go for the burst. They're not getting that. They're not getting that.
The crowd just explodes as soon as Impunity won that fight. Team Kraken now going for another engagement. It seems they just want to fight. There's the Gauntlet. The Crucible's going to block it. Red Mist onto 3 people. Another Gauntlet comes down as well. Quarterfinals going to get trapped off. Fearsome Shade onto 3 people. Miz's Dog is going solo. Nice Solar Storm as well. Here's 3. And Cruci just destroying Pablo in the back line. The shield from Vanguard is going to keep him alive for the time being. Heliogenesis for the double kill. And DeathQ should just be able to clean up Mua here as well. Ordain's going to trap him in place, and Quartervar is just they're just playing with their food at this current moment in time. And the ace could come through as well unless he can get out.
Oh, there's the portal.
Portal, Ordain's Mua, wrong place, wrong time. Sustain from the Serpent's Mask, but it's not gonna matter. An ace for Impunity.
Ace after ace, every step up the ladder to land your Singapore home team in the semi-finals. What incredible performances across this semi-finals. They've had unbelievable drafts, great counters, great theory crafting. And this is a team that was never really expected to go this far, but they have shown everybody up. Everybody. Analysts, players, teams from across the globe, Singapore are just this close to finding themselves in the semi-finals of the Vainglory World Championships.
And we are this close as well to seeing Playoff Beard have his beard shaved on stage as well. Kraken is being taken though, ex-Scoundrel. Look at where Babalab is positioning right here, and you can see Mua is nowhere near either. This is going to be a Miracle Steal, nice block on the Fearsome Shade, but Impunity secure it. Ordain is going to come down, and this is where they need to fight by time for the Kraken. Team Kraken, though, trying to at least chip it down for the time being. Impunity very hesitant right now to actually go for the full-on engage.
Oh, look at the heal from Lyra now as well, fully stacked. Everybody back to full health. They're going
passageway into the Bright Bulwark as well. The Rhine gets snared up. They lay the cage down to stop them going for the engagement. QC walks into it, gets stunned up. Ordained onto the dog. Core collapse actually lands as well onto Babala. This team fight, the longer it extends, the more strong Creasy gets as well. Core collapse, Solar Storm onto 3 members. Another Heliogenesis secures the kill. Impunity setting their sights on the semi-finals. Fine to the dog, the only member left alive. And remember, the Kraken is destroying Team Kraken's base. He's going to fall in the end to a bad mojo. The crowd erupts. The ace comes through.
In a paradoxical turn of events, the Kraken takes down Team Kraken. The mad scientists, Quarterfinals and Impunity. Unbelievable performance. They have looked incredible.
Team Kraken falls and Impunity make it to the semi-finals.
What a performance from them. What a performance from them.
And they are doing
unbelievable
right now. Phenomenal performance across the board from this team.
I just want to give it to Impunity.
Relish this moment.
We can't forget that
Singapore finds themselves in that semi-final, and they looked so good. From draft, from theory crafting, from execution, everything looked top tier.
Started in Singapore. They've had this game
the crowd fully behind them every step of the way.
But let's give credit to Team Kraken. This is a team that was unknown. They didn't have any expectations behind them, but they landed themselves in an incredibly competitive best-of-5 series against the home team. That home team boon really there for the Southeast Asian team of Impunity. But Kraken, we need to give them a round of applause because they fought so hard. They really, really did. The team from China that nobody thought would get out of groups. They found themselves into the quarterfinal, and it was a super competitive one at that.
The games were close as well. It wasn't exactly one-sided throughout.
I'm getting myself some Impunity merch after this performance. I just love
See them
the
on the
way
stage
that
now.
they are
Just
playing the game right now.
I mean, honestly, in front of a Singapore crowd as well, it must be such a relief to win the series 3-1 as well. A team truly to be scared of coming in to tomorrow.
Absolutely. I think any team that faces up against these guys in the semi-final are going to have a tough time on their hands. Tough time on their hands.
We're going to jump over to the desk, and they're going to break down that Impunity Series win a little bit more.
What an incredible victory coming out there for Impunity. They have made it to the semi-finals here in Singapore, representing their home country, and they are doing everybody proud right now. Phenomenal performance across the board from this team.
I just want to give it to Impunity in Singapore. We can't forget that coming into this, I actually put SCA as one of the lower regions along with South America in this event, and they totally outperformed and played to their hearts. And we can't forget that this game started in Singapore. They've had this game longer than any other region, and they showed that today how well they played. So Singapore, give it a hand, man. Woo.
Bravo, absolutely, bravo.
And, I mean, what an incredible performance that they've put on together. They are not done. I got to talk to the people running the merch booth here, and yesterday, after their first win against Rock's Armada, this crowd just immediately went downstairs and bought so much of the Impunity. They became one of the top-selling teams here at Worlds, and I expect them to be very likely the #1 top-selling merch here at Worlds by the time this is done. I'm probably going to end up going down there and getting myself some Impunity merch after this performance. I just love the way that they are playing the game right now.
Yeah, I mean, I love the way they're playing the game as well as how they're drafting. Their strategy is coming into each and every series, and their preparation definitely showing. Now they've made it to the semifinals, and I don't even think they've showed too much. I'm pretty sure they still have pocket picks available to them, and their most secret drafts and strategies still available. So any team that's going to be going up against them is going to have to be really scared of this team.
Absolutely. Well, we do have our winners standing by behind me on this stage. I'm going to pass it over for an interview with Dan and Riku.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's make some noise for Team Impunity! Wow. I guess first thing first, what is it like playing in front of your home crowd and making the semi-finals?
It feels absolutely amazing, and thank you guys for the support.
Yeah, the crowd is amazing with their chants every death that you guys make, but I'm going to be going back to the series that just happened. Potentially, Impunity could have ended that with a 3-0. What did you think went wrong with game number 2?
I think that we kind of didn't give them enough respect for their mid composition, so after that we realized that they are actually, they don't really have to play with anything except skills, so without giving them like the most comfortable compositions, we find it easier to play.
That is very amazing how you managed to adjust coming from that match. But overall, what kind of preparations, looking at their series from day number 1, what kind of preparations did Impunity do? I'll ask you. That's all right. What kind of adjustments did you guys do watching their games from day number 1?
Direction from the rest of the team fight. Fearsome shades everyone in so that the Solar Storm can connect on all members.
Alright, see, I got Riku on stage with me because my arms aren't quite long enough to go all the way. Thank you so much for joining us on stage, guys. I guess the final question for me and from the crowd, can you guys win this World Championship?
Definitely.
Definitely is the answer, apparently. We're going to be seeing more of these guys tomorrow. Let's head this back over to desk. Much obliged. Take it away.
Just listen to that crowd when you see Impunity on this stage. Oh my goodness, this team has some serious support here in Singapore. But we need to break down that game just a little bit. We need to look into what was actually going on during that match, because once again, running with this Batiste alongside the Celeste, this time it was double CP, but that definitely didn't seem to be too much of a hurdle for them.
I mean, it was a full utility CP Batiste though. They went into the Clockwork, into the Echo, and he was just all about those fearsome shades to keep the Celeste Celeste alive. They put all their eggs into the Celeste basket and worked for them, and then later on he was building into the Broken Myth to have a little bit of damage. So the draft, the idea of how they played it against the Ram as well was just so incredible.
And we talked about the fact that teams have to come up with a way to defeat the Rona. That's how they did it, was with everything focusing on, yes, to protect the Celeste, but at the same time to deny the Rona. Those fear shades, the ordained, all the time being used to just make sure that Rona could not have the level of impact that we typically see out of this hero.
Absolutely. Fantastic stuff going out. We do have the Razer replay of this series for you guys. This was the moment in which we saw Impunity manage to net this series for themselves. This was the most important fight of the entire tournament.
Though set up for this, again, Baptiste runs the opposite direction from the rest of the team fight. Fearsome shades everyone in so that the Solar Storm can connect on all members, and then just great play to get the double kill with the Supernova.
Yeah, and look at the Baptiste here, able to lock down the Rona, his cooldown, constantly throwing that bad mojo out, and the Ordain, locking her down multiple times. Rona just could not run away here, and secures the kill, but they play the early game so well. They got a first turret at 6 minutes, and then a huge ace at the 8-minute mark, and this is when Celeste hasn't really scaled into the late game, and they're winning the early game. It was amazing at how well Impunity played. I'm really impressed with DefQ. I mean, his itemization in terms of the enemy team's compositions and counter building appropriately. I mean, he has the best Baptiste I've ever seen so far.
Absolutely, and I mean, you mentioned DefQ. He is actually going to be our Razer MVP for this series. Phenomenal play coming out from him across the board, just absolutely stellar. There was a single moment in game number 3 of this series where he gets a double kill, literally within a split second. Just phenomenal stuff, and even in this game of the series as well, incredible plays coming out.
Really impressive performance from this guy, and he's played on international stage in the past. DefQ, Cordova, they've been together for a long time, and they've played together. So very experienced player as well, and showing how calm and collected he stays no matter what hero he gets onto as well. So the team is very confident in giving him whatever works for them in terms of draft.
And one of the most impressive things for me about DefQ was, again, leading into this tournament, he was their laner. He switched roles right before Worlds. He's been playing in the jungle every single game here at Worlds, but that is not the position he was in prior to this event, and he has just come in and just performed so unbelievably well. Multiple heroes, multiple playstyles within those heroes, and being able to make all of it work.
Absolutely. Now, this does mean that Impunity, they're going to be moving on into the semi-finals. It does also mean that they're going to be going up against the winner of our next semi-final, Ace up against Pain. How are we feeling about that potential semi-final? You know, Impunity have looked amazing on here. Let's have a bit of a preview of the next semi-final, the next quarterfinal, sorry, coming up as well. Ace Gaming against Pain. This is definitely a matchup where, once again, one of these underdog regions is really going to have to outdo themselves.
Yeah, this is going to be a really uphill battle. South America did so well yesterday, but they're facing the champions, or the most consistent champions of East Asia, which is Ace Gaming, who beat TSM 2-0. So this is a very formidable team that it's looking as, if I were Pace Gaming, is a real uphill battle for myself.
Absolutely a David versus Goliath type of situation coming into this quarterfinal for Pain Gaming, but there are cracks that they can try and exploit. If you've watched Ace Gaming in the past, you know, other teams have been able to take games off of them, so there is potential there, but it would be an injustice not to say that Ace Gaming is a heavy favorite coming into this
and I mean, Ace Gaming did lose their star player, Carshield. He took a step away from Vainglory in general, so they don't have him available here in this competition, but they're playing with Youngju, a player that they feel even more confident with, which is very surprising to say, knowing how great of a player Carshield was, but that's due to how well they're playing as a team. His synergy with his teammates have been stellar, and now on this quarterfinal stage, they're just looking to keep on going, so Pain gonna have to really step it up for this one.
Absolutely, and I'm excited to see how this matchup is going to be playing out. Let's take a a look at our bracket as we are now halfway through our quarterfinal day. We do have two of our teams locked into their semi-finals. We've got Tribe up on the top half of the bracket. They'll be against the winners of Cloud9 versus Hunters. That'll be our last series of the day. And then we have Impunity now moving on forward, managing to take out Kraken. And they're going to be going up against either Ace Gaming or Pain Gaming. And that is the matchup that we're going to be stepping on into now. So definitely a lot on the line for these two teams, but Ace Gaming, they have been looking phenomenal coming on into this tournament. Now, I realize Ace Gaming haven't actually been on the mainstream just yet. So, for the viewers at home that didn't manage to watch the games on the alternate stream, can one of you guys give me a little bit of a rundown of what to actually expect coming out from Ace Gaming?
Ace Gaming are a team that play around objectives first and foremost. They go into compositions not with the intent to pick up kills, but with the intent to take down turrets. In their last matchup against Team Solomid, they got their most confident draft, their best composition, arguably, of Kestrel, Lyra, Samuel, and they just went straight for the turrets. They had the third turret down under 10 minutes and were just completely choking Team Solomid out of the game. That's how this team plays when they are on the top of their game.
This is also a team that has some of the best mechanical players in all of Vainglory. Creation and Tasa are very well known throughout the globe in terms of how well they can play each and every hero they get. Vox is a huge pick for Creation in lane. He played it against TSM as well, performed impeccably on it. Lorelei is another pick that we saw from them. So going into this matchup, this is a team that isn't afraid of trying new things as well, things that we haven't seen yet in this competition.
Yeah, what I see is Kestrel is so dominant in EA. In NA, Kestrel is not as strong because NA counters the NA Kestrel really well, Metal Jack, etc. But the way EA plays Kestrel, NA cannot counter. We saw that with TSM playing against Ace Gaming. So that's something South America needs to watch out, because the way they play Kestrel, they siege the lane and they force objectives so fast that you don't have time to build that Metal Jacket to counter her soon enough. And before it's too late, she already scaled, has her 3 damage items, and by then, you're down 3 turrets.
Absolutely. Now, obviously, Ace Gaming, unfortunately, yesterday didn't manage to get onto the mainstream, but when there are scenarios like that, there is a place that you guys can go to keep up with the action. Make sure to check out Mineski.net. They're writing articles, they're doing editorials on all of the action that's happening here at the Razer 2017 Vainglory World Championship. So if you're wanting to keep up with the tournament and also getting some extra insight for yourselves, make sure to check out Mineski.net. They will be posting stuff throughout the course of the event, and they are regularly posting stuff on similar events like this one. So make sure to check them out. But we're just about ready to get on into this third quarter-final, and there is a huge amount of pressure on the shoulders of these players. Let's talk a little bit about the opponents of Ace coming into this one. Pain Gaming, the sole representative from South America here. They have a lot of pressure, but a lot of kind of responsibility, I guess, for their region. We were questioning where South America stood as a region in the globe right now. We're going to be finding out here as they're going to be going up against Ace Gaming now. It's about time that we introduce our teams onto the stage. So it is my pleasure to start off by introducing to this stage Korea's own Ace Gaming.
Ace Gaming, I mean, this is the summer champions as well as the autumn champions coming out of the East Asian team. The only, or East Asian region, the only hope left for the East Asian region after Rox Armada and the Nation Gaming got eliminated from the tournament, looking to go for the picks that we mentioned, such as the Vox, such as the Lorelei. They play so well around one another, around those objectives. That's the thing that stands out about this team. They will focus on the objectives rather than chasing kills aimlessly.
Absolutely, and also, this is a team that is incredibly impressive when it comes to their mechanics. When we talk about players like Creation, when we talk about players like Tasa, one of the things that you have to point out is how good they are at the team fighting in the late stages of the game. This is one thing that EA is always heralded for. No matter what the situation, no matter what the meta, the mechanical play of the players is always absolutely stellar.
Yeah, they're always practicing the game probably just as much, if not more, than almost anyone else in Vainglory, and it shows in their mechanical abilities. They are very, very talented players. on this stage and looking to keep the Vainglory World Championship in the East Asian region.
Absolutely. Well, the players on the other side of the stage are just about ready, so let me introduce the opponents for Ace Gaming. Coming on into this one from South America, it's Pain Gaming.
What exactly this team is
honestly, Group A didn't really show us that much of this.
being the sole representative of South America, making it further than a South American team ever has before at an international event, playing with a lot of pride for their region and their home country of Brazil. They are incredibly honored to be here, and they're so much fun to talk to. These guys, every single time we get the opportunity to see them on the stage, they just look like they are having fun no matter what they're playing.
Absolutely, there they are. Morodic, Muster, and Gisuino Ferrer. These guys, absolutely exceptional players, and they had a good showing in their groups as well. Obviously, losing out to Cloud9, that was a 4-0, but beating out Elite 8 2-0 as well. So, solid second place coming on through. And, I mean, if you're going to lose to a team, Cloud9 seems like a reasonable opponent to lose to.
Yeah, for sure, and they can play Blackfeather Lyra extremely well. However, one thing that they did play was Alpha, and we saw TSM try to play Alpha against Ace, and hopefully they did their homework and see that Alpha doesn't work that well, especially when Ace with Creation on Kestrel. I mean, that is probably his signature hero right now.
Another thing that I hope they don't play is the rhyme that we just saw from Kraken versus Impunity. It just does not work in 2.10 because its damage been nerfed significantly. We saw Rhyme actually stick onto the Celeste for longer periods of time, but he doesn't have enough damage. He's durable, but not enough damage to eliminate those targets. So Pain Gaming, the idea for them is they need to recognize what works in 2.10, not only just themselves.
And the thing for me about this matchup is going to be that Pain Gaming, you mentioned they lost to Cloud9. They got manhandled by Cloud9, but then, and everyone was like, okay, this is just another South American team showing up and just going to be, you know, doing what they can. But then they dominated Elite 8, so this is going to be a really good chance to see what exactly this team is really made of.
Honestly, Group A didn't really show us that much of the skill levels of the teams. It felt like three very clearly different levels of skill in that group, so this is definitely going to be a measuring stick for these teams coming on in. Now let's take a look at some of the statistics for the two teams as we head on into this one. This is the statistics from the group stages of the tournament. You can see Ace Gaming there with 5.2 KDA. That is a phenomenal scoreline to put up. When you bear in mind the group that they came out of as well, to have a KDA that high is exceptional. And then on the other side, it's just a 2 KDA. So this is a very similar thing to what we saw when we looked at Tribe versus G2 earlier on in the day.
Yeah, very much so. And again, Ace Gaming, while they have that high KDA, it's because many of their games, they don't actually get that many kills. They just don't give over any deaths either. A lot of their games end up being, you know, 7-1, 7-3, things like that. But then on the side of, well, Pain Gaming, says Tribe there, but for Pain Gaming, it is very similar to G2, where when they do win, they do focus on the objectives, but sometimes they just push games a little bit too late into the late game and don't have that aggressive early play.
One thing that is worth pointing out is in Ace Gaming's top 3 heroes right there, we have Samuel. One of the only teams that is willing to pull that out. We've seen so little of Samuel across the course of the tournament. For that to be a top 3 pick for this team means that they definitely see strength in this hero that other teams maybe don't agree with.
I mean, honestly, we've seen very little CP ranged heroes coming out of the jungle. Not only the Samuel, but also the Lorelei that I keep on mentioning. 2 heroes that are CP and ranged in the jungle. So, as I mentioned, Ace is definitely not afraid of pulling out things that other teams have not so far on this world stage.
Absolutely. Well, we do have someone in the crowd that wants to give us a little bit of a prediction coming on into this game. I'm going to pass it over once again to Dan Gaskin for our Coca-Cola predictions.
I mean, this Churnwalker has just been.
Thank you very much, Joe Funny.
Pain Gaming, it was one of their
I'm here with Munchables. Feel free to take your headset off so I can hear you. I mean, we have these Coca-Cola pre-match predictions, and we hear from the analysts, we hear from the crowd, but we never hear from the host himself, do we? We never hear from you. So, I want to know what your predictions is in this next coming match.
Well, it's definitely going to be an interesting match. There's, in my opinion, there is a favorite in this one. But I have always been a fan of the underdog, Dan. I've always been a fan of the team that has the mountain to climb, and that's Pain Gaming. I'm going to be repping them 100% from the crowd here. I'm going to be cheering my heart out.
There you go, Munchables. He's going to be cheering his heart out. He gets a Coca-Cola for himself. Thank you for joining me, Munchables. I'm going to throw this one back over to Munchables.
Thank you very much, Stan. Yeah, so got my very own bottle of Coca-Cola.
It's unfair. We make predictions all day and we don't get a bottle of Coca-Cola.
That's because it's not about the quantity of predictions, Stacey Bacon. It is about the quality of predictions. Talking about this matchup, then, I do want to highlight one player in particular. Our player to watch coming on into this series is going to be Creation from Ace Gaming. This guy is exceptionally good. We've seen Kestrel stepping on into the games. We've seen a little bit of Weapon Power. Kestrel was nerfed coming into this update, but still seen it nonetheless. And Creation has to be one of the best Kestrels in the entire world. We are on into the draft, though. Black Feather going to be the starting ban coming out from Pain Gaming. On the other side, we have Lyra, banned by Ace.
Yeah, that opens up Churnwalker for Pain Gaming to take up, and they can play Churnwalker with a Vox and a Koshka, but instead they're going to go with the Arden and hand over that Churnwalker, who has a higher win rate than an Arden, over to Ace Gaming, and that's really, really interesting.
Yeah, definitely a curious decision to be made, to be sure. I mean, this Churnwalker has just been so powerful, and Pain Gaming, it was one of their most played heroes. They know how strong this Churnwalker pick is, but they are still willing to let Ace Gaming have it.
Yeah, I mean, with the Baron ban coming out for Ace Gaming there, that also tells me they want to go for the Vox if it's going to be left open. Either the Vox or something else, such as the Rona that can play very well with the Churnwalker.
We've seen Kestrel with Churnwalker a lot too, so
Kestrel gets taken off right away.
So Ace Gaming really forced Pain Gaming's hand right there. If they had not banned the Vox, it would have been picked up. The Vox gets banned, the Kestrel comes out, and this is a composition they can siege a turret after another with very easily.
Yeah, what Pain should do here is pick Celeste, because the range on Celeste is going to be a good counter, especially against a weapon Kestrel. As long as you keep your distance, Celeste will win that poke game, especially in the late game. So let's see if they'll pick up that Celeste and kind of learn from the other Southeast Asia team that just played on stage.
I wouldn't mind seeing them go for other things that are very bruiser heavy as well. You know, something that can body block those glimmer shots as they come out. Just stand in front of your turret and block those shots so that your turret doesn't get melted quite as quickly, because we know Ace Gaming is going to be wanting to siege up those turrets as much as possible with the Kestrel pick. But yeah, Pain Gaming definitely going to be in a bit of a pickle here as they try and figure out how to deal with this.
Yeah, what's very difficult here is they have to make a choice of either going for a composition that can dive onto the Kestrel later on in the game, or a composition that can hold the sieging that comes out in the early game. So if they go for Rona, they will have a very good composition later on with the Ardent Gauntlets. You just get on top of the Kestrel, try to eliminate her. But if you have the Rona, then your early game phase in the lane is very weak, and you would lose turrets. So they're going to go with the Adagio. I'm expecting this one to be either weapon. Honestly, it can be either weapon power or TP. They still have the choice to make that.
The one thing I could see the Adagio doing against the Kestrel is if you're buying minion candies and constantly healing up your minions, you just continue to keep your minions alive and pushing and prevent Ace Gaming from being able to just siege up non-stop. That's one of the things Adagio can do that no one else can, is provide a little bit of extra health to a minion just to try and disrupt the flow of CSing on the opposing side.
Yeah, I hope Pain Game picks up Samuel here, because if they don't, they're going to... Wow, that's a very
body blocking
interesting composition. Yeah, it looks like a lot of body blocking to keep the Adagio alive. This does open up Samuel for Ace Gaming, but you have two pretty techy front lines there, a Finn and an Arden, that can block the Malice and Verdicts here. But Tasa is just so amazing on that Samuel. And with Kestrel, that's a heavy siege and poke composition that they can run and that they're so comfortable with.
One of the scary things as well is the Churnwalker on that side. So if they get like Samuel that already does cleave damage, as well as that damage being shared by Churnwalker with the Glimmer Shots being shared, that could be a lot of AoE coming up.
I mean, the thing is, Finn is actually a great pick into the Churnwalker, because you can't move him around. He has immunity to CC, so the Trespass is useless to an extent, as well as the B ability coming out from Churnwalker.
Rona comes out, so it looks like it's going to be a weapon Rona and a CP Kestrel in lane, potentially here. I mean, CP Kestrel in jungle.
Yeah, the thing about the Rona into the Finn is not very mobile. Finn cannot move around very much. Rona can just sit there and stack up on the Finn. As long as she avoids the quibbles and doesn't get stunned, it could be a very, very scary Rona that Ace Gaming are bringing to the table. But this composition from Pain Gaming, I love the fact that they are willing to go off meta and bring something unconventional to the table.
Yeah, I mean, as a team, they know that going up against Ace Gaming, they're realistic with themselves. They know that Ace Gaming are the favorites coming into it, so they're saying we have to pull off something that no one else has seen in this tournament to try and surprise them and take wins and perhaps even the series.
All right, well, gentlemen, it's that time once again. Predictions coming on through. Suije, we'll start with you. Which team is going to take this?
I mean, Creation is on Kestrel, so I got to give it to Ace Gaming because of that.
My heart says Pain because this composition is... 2 years ago, this was my favorite composition in all of Vainglory, but I do think Ace Gaming is going to be able to take that.
Yeah, I'll have to say Ace Gaming, just a much stronger team coming out of East Asia.
All right, all three of my analysts are predicting the TSM Slayers to take this one out. They managed to win out the group of death. Can they continue on to the semifinals, or is Pain Gaming going to fight this one out? It's time to find out as we pass it up to our casters for quarterfinal number 3.
Thank you very much, Munch. I am Medic, and I'm joined here by Denominate for this third series of the day. And what a series it looks like it's going to be. No one could have predicted that draft phase to start us off.
It's definitely interesting, and I can't wait to see what we actually see come out of it, because Weapon Power Kestrel for East Asia seems to be one of their strongest picks that they really go for. Can we possibly see a Crystal Rona in the jungle? Maybe. That would be pretty neat, but you know, we really got to talk a little bit about the Adagio, Arden, and Finn combination. So definitely some crazy picks here. Will it pay off for Pain? We'll have to see.
We'll have to wait and see. You know, they surprised people yesterday by beating Elite 8-2-0 to make it to the quarterfinals. I'm sure they'll surprise a lot of people, even if they can take a single game off Ace Gaming, who looked so strong earlier in Group D.
Yeah, I think Ace Gaming is definitely one of everybody's favorites coming into this tournament. You know, they were able to bring down Rocks throughout the regular seasons. And then, you know, coming into this close competition, we've seen it very back and forth between North America. Obviously lost TSM and Rocks, the top two from last year, so things have really switched up.
We are going to jump onto the Halcyon fold. It's the first game of our third series of the day. It's Pain Gaming taking on Ace Gaming. And it is the battle of two titanic teams here. Who shall swim and who shall sink? We'll find out.
Well, it's not looking like any Crystal Rona for me here today, man.
That's a shame. It's a shame.
But Tassa will be go ahead and getting on that Crystal Kestrel. Can be a very strong pick if you set the plays up.
Going to have a little bit of engage here as they fight around that first Treant. Churnwalker so good at level 1, of course, for the extra damage you get out. The Elder Treant will be started up here by Ace. Pain Gaming trying to respond. Finn with that polite company drags them back. The hooks and the chains are still on. Treant goes across towards Ace Gaming, and Pain retreat.
Yeah, they're going to get out unscathed. Everybody makes it out. No first blood, but as you mentioned, that Treant is going to go ahead and go over to the side of Ace Gaming. So they take themselves a very slight advantage here in the beginning. And now, you know, pretty common rotations here. We'll have the jungler and the laner rotate to the back, get that ambient gold, ambient experience, and that kind of helps just get the game rolling. Obviously, the carries have more expensive builds than the captains, you know, just based on the price of the items. And you want that damage to come through on a Crystal Kestrel. It needs to be there early so they can really push an advantage.
Triple Crisp bit already on that Kestrel will be taken in the jungle, whereas we have Creation on the Rona in the lane. We were a little bit surprised not to see the double poke composition, because earlier on Ace brought out a Samuel Kestrel alongside Aroma to really poke down their opposition and take down TSM incredibly quickly. They broke the choke turret at the 7-minute mark in that game. Here they've gone for something a little bit more teamfight focused, perhaps a little bit more defensive as well.
Yeah, absolutely, and you know, that's one of the big compositions that EA has really been known for. You bring that Kestrel in the lane, very good at forcing up the wave early on, pair it with a Crystal Jungle, and it just makes it very easy to rotate up and overpower the enemy.
Bit of action here as Creation jumps into the fray, looking for the damage down on towards Pain. The escape down towards the bottom side already. We see the Adagio go down. Ace Gaming with first blood and second blood off the back of that fight, and third blood. They actually get an ace, only 2 minutes in, living up to their name.
Yeah, great plays coming out of them, and you know, looking out over here, Arden appears to be going on to a another Crystal Arden. build, and that's going to be kind of a fun setup later on. You know, with the Finn, I can see some really cool plays getting set up with the Force to Cord through the Gauntlet wall. We'll just have to see if they're able to execute on it. That is going to leave a weapon Adagio in the lane where he does have some advantages. He has a very long range, can get a lot of basic attacks out safely, but he has to be worried about that heavy dive coming out of the Rona. Adagio does not have any way to get out of combat once the enemy team is committed on him.
Ace Gaming bringing out Churn Walker early on here as well. It's a pick that we've seen prioritized by a lot of teams, but we haven't always seen it be the most effective throughout this tournament. I'm sure Youngju here will have a great amount of experience on this hero and will show just how you play Churn Walker.
Yeah, Churn's actually been a hero that's been banned quite frequently in this Worlds event. Again, we are on 210, and they don't want anything to do with those hooks and chains, as well as the big AoE stun that can come out of that Trespass can really sway the way a fight goes. You can pair it up with an Echo, you can really set up some really beautiful combos for your team, and it's going to be all about Pain Gaming here. They need to be careful on what they allow Youngju to do. If you allow him to position Adagio favorably for this Kestrel, you could essentially see someone get pulled into the active camo, and that could be real devastating.
It could be incredibly devastating. The Crystal Power Kestrel does a huge amount of work with that active camo. The third Treant did go down towards Ace as well, so they have secured themselves about a 2,500 gold lead. Only 4 minutes in, looking incredibly strong, but haven't put too much damage down on towards that turret in the lane yet.
Now, they haven't been able to, again, you know, if it was a Kestrel in the lane, you know, we might have been able to see a little bit more wave push. A little bit slower farm early on for the Rona, so we're going to have to see how things go out. The one-shot, one-kill, going to just go a little bit north of that one. And now with Ace Gaming coming into the lane, that's just going to be Pain rotating back. And Sir Mustard just making sure that he's safe here, looking out for those hooks and chains.
And it's odd to see Ace Gaming in this position because they're fighting for the pride of East Asia, really. We expected a lot of East Asian teams to get through to the quarterfinals. It's only Ace Gaming left, the champions of that region, fighting for the pride of the area from which they come. And I think a lot of people will predict Ace Gaming coming into this tournament and into this series as the favorites. But Pain Gaming definitely stand in their way. They've had upsets before, continued pressure on this turret in the lane as well by Ace, but not quite able to get any kills as of yet.
Yeah, and as we see the Kestrel come into the lane, that is one huge thing for these Crystal junglers that capitalize early based on their Crystal ratios. We see those Glimmer shots chunking out Pain Gaming, and now Ace might even look to get some damage down on this turret as they have a full wave here.
The Screen of Air quite low, doesn't have the fountain either. Ace have one of their own alongside the Shatterglass for Tasso, so they're looking for the turret. They will get it down to Mustard, going to be the first to fall. The turret somehow still alive as that barrier comes back up, but eventually it will go down as well. One shot, one kill. Threads the needle between the two members of Pain Gaming. But Ace get exactly what they want off that push.
Yeah, Ace take a huge lead here. Under 6 minutes, 4 kills, first turret. They're working on a 4,000 gold lead as they find Falcon Dorian down here in the jungle.
Working on a 5th kill as well.
Yep, and now they're going to, you know, again, objective control is strong for the East Asia region. They take down that Crystal Sentry. They're right here. They've already got a kill. There's no possible way Pain Gaming could have came and contested it. And now that's a whole jungle rotation as well going over the side of Ace Gaming.
And this is what we expected to see from Ace Gaming as well. They're so strong. They're so methodical in the way they play. It's objective, and then you push into the enemy jungle, you steal away these camps, take the gold away from the enemy, and we're starting to see Pain Gaming just slowly choked out of this game. There's not really much on the Halcyon Fold for them to collect. Look at Falcon. His CS is 16 at the moment, and Creation and Tassa are sitting up around that 50 mark.
Yeah, Ace have done a great job with their rotations. You know, anytime they get the opportunity to get this Kestrel in the lane, they know Adagio's a little far forward. Those Glimmer shots rain through, and I mean, if you land all 4, we saw, I mean, it was a dead Adagio. So even if you don't get the kill, Ace is a very smart team. If they force the enemy back, they'll turn their aggression very quickly onto the objective and just continue to push that lead. It's well worth not getting a kill to get the objective if you can do so.
Definitely is. Tassa gets an early infusion as well, has that one ticking over, building up towards his next CP item, likely to be the clockwork there on the Kestrel, breaking and Serpent's Mask already on Creation as well. Remember, we're not even 8 minutes into this game and he's already sitting at 2 completed tier 3 items. You can see Mustard's trying to respond to this pressure from Ace Game by getting himself himself a weapon infusion, but is that enough at this point?
And a weapon infusion now in pocket of Ace Creation as well. It's a little bit low on health right now, but we know how sustainable Rona can be. Obviously, the fortified health that comes through the Red Mist, as well as has the healing flask ready to go, and that Serpent's Mask in his build as well can be just so easy. You know, it makes Young Ju's job so much easier because he can save all of his utility for Tassa, who on the Crystal Kestrel, if he gets damaged in the middle of combat, he's not going to be able to use that active camo to dance around the fight. And, you know, as we get into that point, it's going to be very important for Jesuino Farah to keep vision control. Even if you're not winning the vision control, you have to have enough that Tassa doesn't just have free reign over the map like right now.
Oh my goodness gracious me, that is disgusting. That shouldn't be allowed in Vainglory. Must have chunked out the one-shot, one-kill. Will take half of the Rome's health as well. That Finn is struggling as he tries to get back towards the lane, but Ace just using the zone control they have with that Kestrel going towards the turret. Here comes the Gauntlet. Falcon trying to stop Ace in their tracks. The turret will fall very quickly. It goes down. Creation still alive. Muster low in the backline as well as the active camo comes in. The aggressive play here from Tassa is he's looking for more kills. The Trespass gets the stun onto Falcon. Dorian, the Finn just about getting away, but Falcon's been pulled back in. One shot, one kill! Goodbye! Ace Gaming get two, and they look to push towards the choke point turret here as well. 8 minutes in, they are looking to close out this game pretty quickly, and they will get their third turret of the game. It's been perfect thus far from our Korean champions.
The rotations coming out of this team are absolutely amazing. As we see, that control of just taking down the objectives is so huge for Ace. They just do such a beautiful job forcing Sir Muster out early. The Trespass comes through, stuns up Falcon Dorian. They're able to clean up that kill. And then Tassa, the rotation down to the jungle to get that one-shot, one-kill around the Finn just takes down Adagio.
I didn't realize one shot, one kill was a targeted ability to dominate. It seems to be for Tassa. That was absolutely beautiful. Ace Gaming 7 kills to 0 up. We are less than 10 minutes into this game and they have a 10,000 gold lead to nominate. Looking at a perfect game here as well for them. Haven't given up a Treant, haven't given up a gold miner, haven't given up a turret, nor have they given up a kill, and they want a few more for their own. Into the fray comes in. The active camo from Tassa. They're going to walk straight into that stun. Fountain used by Pain Gaming, but another stun. And Tassa is just shredding through Pain. They live to their name. They feel the pain. And Ace Gaming get another ace for themselves.
They've done such a great job. They've been in the driver's seat all game long, coming off of a great triple Trespass stun there out of Young Ju. This looks like Ace. They might even just be looking to close out this game. They have the Ace Wave minions, and they're splitting the aggro.
Are they going to win this game before 11 minutes? Pain are trying to stop them, but I don't think Ace really care. Young Ju in that front line is looking for the re-engage. That active camo is absolutely deadly. The stealth in from Tassa. He's waiting to see if Pain overextend here. The pull back. Falcon Dorian in that front line. The sentry's been eliminated. One shot, one kill is going to connect. As Jesuino Farah will tank that one up for the time being. You can see Ace just want to close this one out. They want to get to game 2, and that's exactly what Creation is trying to do. The stun once again. Muster just about surviving up towards the backline. The dive in from Falcon. Muster's going to go down. Creation doing a lot of work. Falcon's low as well as Tassa will eventually take him out with the glimmers if he can connect. Falcon dodging around with his fancy feet, but the crystal goes down just before the 11-minute mark, and Ace are absolutely dominant in game 1. What a performance there from Ace Gaming. Incredibly strong stuff from them. A perfect game to start off their series against Pain.
Yeah, it was a beautiful execution all the way around. Ace Gaming at no point looked like they were struggling with this one. The plays coming out of Tassa, it's been a long time since I have seen a Kestrel have quite the impact as that. I mean, the one-shot, one-kills, as you mentioned, they looked like they were targeted abilities. And, man, great game out of Ace.
Incredible performance by them. Pain Gaming have a lot to come back for in that second game of the series. We're going to hand it back across towards the analysts to break down that perfect game by Ace Gaming.
Thank you very much, guys. What a game coming out from Ace. What a performance. First time on the main stage, and they are looking looking to make a good impression. Sub 12-minute finish. I don't even know what I just witnessed. I feel like that was some kind of crime how fast they did that one.
That was a very, very strong play from Ace Gaming, but my favorite thing about it was the adaptability. We talked about Blackfeather being able to be flexed into weapon or crystal depending on what your opponents do. They pick up the Kestrel. Everyone expects weapon Kestrel to come out, and then the body blockers come through for Pain Gaming. I like the idea that Pain Gaming brought to the table, saying, you know what, we're going to body block this Kestrel so that it can't just melt through us. And Ace Gaming just say, okay, we're going to switch this up to the splash damage build on the Kestrel and just hit your frontliners and deal damage to your back line. It was so smart.
I mean, it also was about the fact that we talked earlier, the B-side capabilities, when you go into the draft on that B-side, you have an advantage of flexing your draft and flexing your picks that you had picked. Also, that's why you see some teams try to prioritize flex picks, such as the Kestrel, such as the Blackfeather that you touched on, and it just left Pain Gaming with no win condition at all. Past the early game, they didn't force anything. I mean, they couldn't. Kestrel was 9 or 10 levels at 9 minutes. He was more than 1 level per minute. That is crazy.
Yeah, it was actually a ridiculous performance coming out from Ace. We have a of one of the team fights later on into the game. I say later on into the game. There really wasn't a later on in this game. But Suijay, talk me through what happened here.
Yeah, this was insane. I mean, it all started at 220 when Ace got the first ace, and their rotations are just on point. But you can see they put so much pressure that even with a tanky front line, it just wasn't enough. And you can see Tasa on this CP Kestrel, his positioning, his ultimates right there. 840, that was such a crazy, and 3 turrets are down already. And at the 6-minute mark, they were up 4,000 gold. Yeah. I mean, they aced their enemies.
I mean, my favorite thing from that replay is just, we talked about the fact that Ace Gaming liked to prioritize the objectives. Pain Gaming initiated that fight with the gauntlet, and no one really took damage from Pain until the turret was already down, because Ace just said, we're taking this objective, whether you like it or not, and then we'll deal with looking for kills.
Pain saying that they do not want to deal with this Churn Walker again. Lyra was banned by Ace, and now the first picks have come on through. Vox for the side of Pain, and Ardent for the side of Ace.
The one thing I'm surprised about is the fact that Ace Gaming did show their CP Kestrel last game. I feel like against Pain Gaming, they could have just went with things that other teams have already seen in this competition and just played out and relied on their strengths as a team rather than secret picks such as the CP Kestrel. They could have saved it for later rounds. Instead, they showed it, so now other teams know that they play it.
But the thing is, with the CP Kestrel, no one really plays the CP Kestrel because it's nowhere near as strong as the weapon variant. And so I feel like it's one of those things that they wouldn't very likely have pulled out in a later round, and that could be why they ended up doing here. And it just made so much sense with what Pain Gaming was bringing to the table in terms of competition.
I really like what Pain did here, taking a box and taking away Kestrel from Creation. That's really, really smart for them, because Tasa and Creation play Kestrel so well. Blackfeather is a very smart pickup here. It's going to be CP, and now it's going to be Koshka and probably a weapons guy potentially. Wow, Glaive is picked up here to counter.
Going into 2.10 is one of the picks that I wanted to see a lot more. I talked about it yesterday as well. In the lane, going against the Vox and the Blackfeather, 2 heroes that are fairly squishy, especially the CP Blackfeather that we're going to be seeing coming out in the jungle. With the crit buff to the Glaive on his B ability and the life stacks or life steal stacks on the ultimate, you can definitely make it work, and it's all about the early game aggression here for Ace Gaming.
We also just take a moment to talk about how quick Ace Gaming is with this draft, knowing exactly what they want and locking in their selections almost immediately when it's their turn to pick. That shows me that they are extremely confident in both their preparation and their performance in game.
If I was Pain, I would take Grace here, or Lance, but Grace would be an obvious pick here because you can just stay on top of the Vox, stun using the B ability to get divine intervention to whoever needs it, probably the Vox, and save him when he gets after out of position.
All right, well, it seems like Ace Gaming perhaps have a dinner reservation for later on or something, and they've got to get through this series quickly to get there. That's what it feels like to me. How quickly are they going to get through this one, though? feel like Pain Gaming are going to be able to battle their way back into this series.
It just doesn't seem likely. Ace Gaming is such a strong team. They're on the caliber of Cloud9, and we saw what Cloud9 was able to do to Pain Gaming. I think we're just going to have very similar situation here.
Yeah, especially with the Koshka and the Glaive, I have to agree there.
So prediction-wise, it feels like you two are already going for Ace on this one. Sweet J, would you agree with them?
Totally Ace. I mean, Koshka and Glaive, that's such a strong comp early game and ganking potential. Ace for sure.
All right, we have a full Ace desk here alongside me. We'll see if Pain Gaming can upset the analysts, if they can upset the apple cart and go 1-1 in this series, or if it's going to be Ace pushing this to a 2-0 lead. It's time to get into game number 2 of this quarterfinal and pass it back up to our casters.
Thank you very much, Munch. I am still Medic. This is still Denominate, and we are here still for Ace Gaming versus Pain Gaming. What a first game we saw, and now we have to see if Pain Gaming can react.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. The amount of control and just dominant force that Ace were able to put onto the fold earlier, that was just, they could not have played it more perfect. So I think if you're Pain Gaming, you've got a little bit better of a draft this time around, despite maybe going a little bit of an unorthodox manner to get there. I think they stand a better chance this time around. The Crystal Ardent to me felt a little gimmicky. I can see a world where it works, but it involves you winning very early on. It was a little bit questionable.
And it's hard to win into Ace Gaming. Like we saw TSM collapse against them earlier on today. We saw Pain Gaming struggle in the last game, and once again, it looks like Ace perhaps have gone for a slightly earlier composition. We are on to the Halcyon Fold, game 2 of the third quarterfinal of the day. Ace Gaming 1-0 up against their Brazilian rivals, and Pain have a lot to do if they're going to win back the faith of the analyst desk.
Yeah, definitely a lot of hard work ahead of them indeed, and Ace is going to come down here and spot out this Treant started up, but I think Pain probably going to get this one. Youngju does not have the blood for blood, so that's just going to be Falcon Doran securing that one, topping himself up on health dangerously low. But I do want to make note over here on Creation's build, so it is going to be a lane Glaive, but he has actually foregone the Book of Eulogy start and has gone ahead and picked up some boots and the weapon blades. So looking for that aggressive rotation now. He's level 2. They started their backs. Can they pick up this first fight?
Looking for a little bit of a steal here. The backs will go down. That Treant still alive, though. Creation will be able to get in there. The Treant goes down towards Tassa. Falcon Dorian quite low, but Ace Gaming not able to get too much out of that. Pain Gaming have already retreated behind that turret line.
Yeah, they've done a good job, and now Tassa, the double crystal bit start on Koshka, pretty common. Very bursty here early on, especially into targets like Blackfeather and Vox, who have a low base health pool, especially very early on here in the game. And the real chance that Pain Gaming stands is they have to make it pretty substantially far into this game. We're going to have to see, the 15, 16, 17-minute mark this time around if they want to pull out a victory here.
Bringing 3 people into lane as well. Jaswinova just trying to trade with Youngju. It's not going to do too much work. And Creation is perhaps going to struggle slightly in the lane. Melee into ranged matchups are not the easiest matchups to navigate.
Yeah, it's pretty rough when you don't have that Book of Eulogies either, too. So it gives you a little bit of sustain.
Oh, Jaswinova went in and Creation was waiting for him. Baited and outsmarted. Creation takes first blood.
Yeah, he did use that healing flask, but I mean, picked up a kill, he survived through it all, and they might even have a chance to set something up on Muster here, who's also very, very low. Afterwards coming up in 3 seconds, and Youngju's here.
Muster realizes that it could be a possibility. We'll just back away. Youngju's going to try and stop the bot, and we'll be able to keep Muster in the lane for the time being. But with a Minion Candied lane, it's going to take a bit of time before Ace can get this one into the turret of Pain.
Yeah, they're just going to clear this one out, and that's going to be when the Creation's probably going to make his opportunity to rotate back to the shop, pick up some of those items so they can have a little bit more sustain here in the lane. As we see Tassa there for a second, was going to go ahead and take away that Treant, really start this snowball off early. We've already got first blood over onto Creation with that beautiful afterburn setup. And now is that time that he needs to get back in shop. He's Sir Muster's come back into the lane. He has the Blazing Salvo. He has a little bit of armor as well. So not a whole lot of clear yet for Vox.
Still skips out on the Book of Eulogies for Creation though. Heavy Steel, 6 sins, going down as much damage as possible. Tassa perhaps a little bit overextended as Pain have collapsed into their own jungle, so Muster is quite low. Tassa's going to try and retreat down towards the bottom side. Youngju's there as well. He's going down. Here goes Tassa jumping back in. Muster's low. Youngju gets taken out. Pain Gaming get their first kill of the series, but here comes Creation, and there goes Falcon, somehow surviving, eventually gets taken out. Creation now has to try and get away, but Muster and Jesuino Ferrer are not going to give up on this chase. Creation will fall. He gets extinct. And Pain Gaming get a 2-for-2 scoreline early on in this game.
Yeah, signs of life coming out of the Brazil heartthrobs here. Really trying to show that they can take their stance against Ace Gaming here. That was a very quick first game, but sometimes those are just the easiest to get over. You know, you can look at it and be like, well, we didn't have a good draft. Things just went very poorly from the beginning. It's very easy to turn around off of that, you know, as opposed to a 30-minute grueling loss where you were back and forth, you were so close, couple hits on a Vein Crystal, but, you know, of that nature. So Ace, they stayed a little bit too long, separated from Creation, and they paid for it.
And you have to remember, a lot of people underestimated Pain Gaming. You know, they said they'd be third in the group, they wouldn't win a game, they'd get eliminated on day one, and then they were able to beat Elite 8, one of the SEA teams coming into the tournament, to get through to the quarterfinals. And you can see those signs of brilliance in Pain. You can see the rotations, you can see the collapses. We didn't see them in game one, but Pain are looking a lot more coordinated here in game two.
Oh, absolutely. They saw an opportunity, but Ace almost saw one as well.
Yeah, but Muster will survive because Jesuino Ferrer is waiting, ready to help out his laner and keep that Vox alive. We are starting to get towards these first item spikes here as well. Denominate Muster's gone Poison Shiv. We've got the fountain completed on Jesuino Ferrer. Yet to be a fountain on Youngju, but he does have the gold in his inventory for it.
Yeah, he absolutely does. And, you know, Creation has completed that Sorrow Blade. This is a really big spike of burst damage for the Glaive. And, you know, you have to be very careful. Sir Muster has built a little bit of armor already, so he's going to cut down a little bit. But again, Blackfeather, low health pool, is very susceptible to that burst damage that the Glaive can provide. So he's going to be really needing to land his on points and get that barrier to help him survive throughout these fights. The Poison Shiv, as you mentioned, you know, fairly common first item here on the box. And Jesuino Ferrer, when we get later into the game, when we get that Divine Intervention online, that's going to help the Vox be able to dance around, stay in the fight, stay healthy, and then also because it's triple melee, that Holy Nova could be devastating.
A lot of work. Falcon Dorian's gone for the Aftershock first on the CP Blackfeather. We've seen Blackfeather so impactful on 2.9, has been often banned throughout Worlds thus far. When he gets taken up by a team, he does have incredible efficacy and wins a lot of those games. Creation's going to jump in, waiting for Jesuino Ferrer to try and react. Holy Nova's not going to get the knock-up. The wait for it was used as well from Muster, so perhaps we'll see Tassa going in for the re-engage. The reflex block is available here on Muster, so Tassa is holding the trigger, waiting for prime time to pounce in and get that yummy Catnip Frenzy down. Falcon Dorian doesn't have a reflex block of his own. Will point out Tassa in the jungle. A lot slower pace game. The knock-up onto Jesuino Ferrer. Here comes the yummy Catnip Frenzy, but the fountain came out just in time to keep Pain alive for the time being. Underneath the turret, Ace continuing to dive in, but Falcon Dorian is here to help the rest of his team. Ace Gaming have been able to retreat back behind the turret. Here they go back in, looking for the fight, but the first kill has almost gone down. Tassa's the first to fall. Jesuino Ferrer somehow surviving off towards the top side of the fight, and you can see Ace realize there's not much more they can do here because Muster's willing to chase forward. He's willing to step up to the Korean champions and say, not today. Today is the day of Brazil. Muster will get the second kill of the fight, and Pain Gaming come up huge.
Yeah, and they couldn't have come up with all of this in a better time. They take beautiful opportunities where Tass has gone a little too far and turn things around.
That is just BM right there, stealing away a Treant and then flashing the emote back at him. But that's what Ace Gaming are. They're an aggressive team. They haven't been able to get this early aggression down this game. Pain Gaming have been able to react incredibly well.
Yeah, I think it's been a lot of Tassa going a little bit too far. For example, in that last fight, they did have Jesuino Ferrer very low. You use that yummy Catnip Frenzy in under the turret. You know, you've now damaged an enemy hero. That turret aggro switches right onto you. You're locked up for the 2.2 seconds, just like Jesuino Ferrer was on the Grace. That's a lot of damage that adds up from that turret very quickly on.
At the point, Pain don't really want to fight. Musta's sitting on about 1,500 gold. Would like to be able to go back and start building up some weapon power. Probably looking breaking point later on in the game as well if you can get those stacks. Tornado Trigger finished for Creation alongside the Sorrow Blade. We'll have to see if Ace Gaming can play around these small windows of opportunity that teams have. You're looking to take fights when the enemy team hasn't bought their next item, hasn't got that second tier 3, and that's exactly what they're doing as they take down Falcon Dorian, and a great Yummy Captive Frenzy into Gauntlet combination to stun into the wall as well. Justwino Ferrer just can't go anywhere. He's trying to get away with the fountain, but I think he is going to fall as well. Youngju secures the kill. Roam on Roam combat. There's the breaking point. Too little, too late for Pain Gaming, as once again they lose 2 members in the lane.
Yeah, they do. It was a good fight for Ace Gaming. They were able to combo those stuns very, very efficiently. They find 2 kills. They're going to get a gold mine as well. And this build on Creation is very, very aggressive and works very well on Glaive because he just naturally scales well with crit. But Sir Muster,
attempting for the seal, it would be a massive one if he could get it. Unable to secure it. Ace Gaming get the gold payout, and with it, a 2,000 gold lead. You can see that they want to try and use this advantage as well. Infusion on Tassa and Infusion in the inventory of Creation as well. They've been so good at picking their moments to fight. And it's the reason they come out of Korea as the reigning champions. It's the reason they're the only East Asian team left alive in the tournament. But Pain Gaming are trying to have something to say about that. Atlas Pauldron now finished onto Tassa to try and shut down Star Muster on that Vox.
Yeah, and it'll do a good job doing so if he can land it, because this Vox build so far is a lot of attack speed that takes a lot of time to ramp up. There's no Sorrow Blade, there's no Monocles in here. It does take a little bit more time to build up that breaking point when you don't have raw weapon damage to go with it.
Jump in from Tassa, the reflex box come out. Youngju with the re-engage. There's a Yummy Captain Frenzy, gets a stun, but the box is still alive to do a lot of damage in this fight. Look at those breaking point stacks. Look at Ace on the back foot, realizing they're taking a bad fight, and there's the first kill for Pain, but they're not done yet. They're trying to get on towards the backline. Tassa there, the Rose offensive. Falcon Dorian just can't find the on point, but they will find the turret, and Pain Gaming are actually starting to take the advantage in this game. They're still behind in gold, but Ace Gaming just seems so far on the back foot. Pain coming up huge once again in the lane.
Yeah, they absolutely have, and it shows that you cannot sleep on this team. I mean, you know, the desk and us, you know, we were like, wow, Ace Gaming was really in control the first game. I don't know if Pain has what it takes. And they're showing us wrong right now, and they're doing such a great job doing so. This combination between the Grace and the Blackfeather has just done so well. The barrier that Blackfeather provides himself when paired up with the Divine Intervention gives you that reduced damage. You have the barrier, that burst of health. It's just working out so well for them because Ace is focusing that target, and they just don't have the damage to get through.
East Asia, a region known for their adaptability. Sometimes not within a game, but definitely across the course of a series. My question is now, with Pain Gaming being the team in the advantage in this game, will we see adaptation from Ace Gaming? Will they change their playstyle? Will they stop looking for these picks? Because it seems that Tassa keeps engaging, and then immediately Pain Gaming are able to keep Muster alive and actually get those breaking point stacks up, and it's starting to win them these fights.
Yeah, it absolutely has, and now Ace, they're looking to take a turn of their own.
That they are unable to get it for the time being. Tassa gets jumped on by Falcon Dorian and starts to walk back towards the Sanctuary, trying to find a little bit of relief as Pain continue in. There's the afterburn blocked out with the Crucible. Here comes the Gauntlet from Youngju, trying to catch the all in, but another block on the Yummy Captain Frenzy, and Muster's still alive, building up the breaking point stacks. The damage coming out from that is absolutely monumental, and already they've got 1 kill, and they're looking for a couple more. The wait for it won't quite connect, but Tassa has to get away, and so do the rest of Ace's. Pain just do absolute work in the lane here. They're going to get their second turret of the game, and what a turnaround this has been from game 1. A perfect game that ended in 11 minutes. Now Pain Gaming at the 13-minute mark are 1,000 gold ahead of our Korean champions.
Yeah, they're doing an absolute great job. And, you know, Pain, I thought it was going to be a little bit later before we saw these builds come on, but unfortunately Tassa has not been able to get that early aggression the way he would have so hoped. The on-points coming out of Falcon Dorian, and again, the beautiful stuns coming out of Justwino Ferrer have just given them the time that they've been able to turn around these fights. That is one of the really rough things, is that triple melee, you are all susceptible to that stun when you're trying to get on that back line, and that allows Vox additional time to ramp up damage. Now, I do want to make note real quick, he's picked up a piercing spear, so he's likely looking towards going into either a tension bow or a bone saw, and not the raw weapon damage.
It's just Swinofer who goes in for the engage once again, and Ace Gaming just immediately on the back foot, trying to find a way away from the fray, but they're not going to be allowed to get out of this one. Pain Gaming get another kill for themselves, and it's all Pain all the time now. Just Swinofer pops a jump back at him, just saying anything you can do, I can do better. You may have got a treant, but I will take your life. And the last few fights have been the same story for Ace. They just cannot find a way to break through this Pain front line.
Yeah, they haven't been, and now Pain, they're going to do, you know, just what they need to do. They need to maintain all the objective control they can. They need to stay in control of this game, because if they give Ace that opportunity to catch up, they will. I mean, Ace will take any opportunity and run with it.
That was close, almost stole that away, but Pain able to secure it for themselves, and it's the first time we've really seen Ace push this far back since the Hunters series earlier on today, where they went 1-1. Pain are 2,000 gold ahead with a composition that only keeps scaling the later we get on into the game, and perhaps Ace have missed their opportunity in this game.
You cannot count them out. It definitely feels a little bit that way. Again, the early capitalization didn't work out for them, specifically because there was a couple fights that they either fought a 2v3, took them a little bit too long to group up, went a little too far underneath the turret, and that gave a big spike of gold and momentum over to the side of Pain Gaming, who again needed to get the gold. They need to get later in the game and get the builds up. And when Ace Gaming just hands themselves over, it makes it very easy for this Vox to get to the point that he can be that hyper carry.
Let's have a look at just where we are in terms of build. The Bonesaw completed on Muster. He's now at 3 weapon power items as Pain trying to defend their turret here. Needs to be a little bit cautious because Ace have taken that one down. The wait for it came out as well. Here comes the flank if they try and dive onto that backline. Vainglory doing a lot of work. The Gauntlet, but still that box is alive on the outside of it, and you need to watch Muster because he's the one. He actually dives into the stun there, and Ace might try and capitalize. The Yummy Captive Frenzy is blocked out, as is the Afterburn. Tassa having to run away on that backline. Youngju trying to get away from Vainglory, but the Heartthrob stacks are building up. Creation in the midst of all of Pain, but he is going to be the one focused down now. He falls. Tassa trying to get away. It's a double for Pain. Can't quite get the triple, and Pain Gaming once again able to win a fight.
Yeah, even if you don't get the triple, you've got to be happy. If you're Pain Gaming right now, again, that first game was a landslide. I thought it really was going to set the tone, but Pain have come through looking so strong. Let's get into this replay. As Ace, they do take down that first turret, but unfortunately not working the same way it did last game. They get engaged on, and there just wasn't enough damage coming down onto this Vox. We'll see Tassa jump back in. The Vox does get stunned up, but Divine Intervention comes through, the Reflex Blocks comes through, the repositioning coming out of the Sonic Zoom. They just never were able to keep consistent damage up, and now Pain, they've got themselves a crack, and they only have 3 turrets in between them and a victory over Ace Gaming.
And what a monumental victory it would be after such a devastating game in Game 1. Pain Gaming have adapted, they've come back, said anything you can do, we can do better, and they're looking to take a win here off Ace Gaming, who 2-0'd TSM earlier today. A lot of people looked at Pain and said they're just going to fall out in the group stages, where they are proving us entirely wrong. The pride of Brazil coming up massive in this second game of the Best of 5 series. There are, of course, more games to come, but Pain Gaming need to secure this one first to equalize it at 1-1.
Wow, this is Vainglory Worlds. This is the best of the best, and Pain is proving you cannot count them out. They did their work to get here, and they are showing exactly how they did it, and now Pain's coming in.
Swinofer looking for the flank here. They get to wait for it down on towards Tassa. He's going to get chased back towards the Sanctuary. The Kraken at about half health as it pushes in, and now Ace Gaming need to regroup. They need to work out, is there an avenue? Is there a way? Is there a possibility that we find and engage in this fight? Because that Kraken is still pushing in. The Yummy Cabinet Frenzy is going to come out, and Ace Gaming on their last legs. Pain Gaming looking for the win here. They're taking down the second crystal turret. They don't really give a damn about Ace. They just want the win. They just want the crystal, and they are going to get it. They're going to equalize this series unless Ace have something final to say, but they just can't do it. Next, crystal goes down. I talked too quickly there. I was just surprised that Pain Gaming were able to take the win over Ace and equalize the series at 1-1.
Yeah, what a beautiful turnaround by Pain there in game number 2, and hopefully we've got some Pain Gaming fans down in the stage that'll help cheer them on, and maybe they can bring down Ace. Maybe we won't see East Asia, who was expected to have both teams go all the way. They might not make it here out of the quarterfinals.
What a confident performance by Pain as well. You know, they just held Ace at arm's length until they were ready to take the engages, to take the fight. Even when they were dived between their two turrets, they were very willing just to wait out these fights, and when they came online, they really came online.
Yeah, I'm more excited than I thought I would be for Game 3 here. This is such an even matchup.
What I'm really happy about is that all the analysts were wrong once again, and we're going to hand it back across towards them. Munch, just tell us why you guys can't predict the series.
Now, just to clarify, Medic, I predicted Pain Gaming coming on into here, so you can't pin that one on me. But he's absolutely right, guys.
It's the 3-0 curse.
I don't like this prediction game anymore.
Yeah,
can we stop playing this?
Whenever you all agree with each other, that's when the prediction is wrong. Pretty much.
I know, right? It's when all three of us agree with the team. It just curses that team. They lose.
Let's talk a little bit about that game, though, because Pain have really come into their own. Maybe they just needed a game to warm up. Maybe now this is the real Pain that we're going to be.
I mean, honestly, I'm just going to call out Ace Gaming on their arrogance right here. I saw the Kestrel CP pick last game. I thought they were showing something that they had as a pocket pick. It looks like they're just going for things that they feel like would work regardless of whether they're strong or not with the Glaive lane this time around. And good on Pain Gaming, showing that they're not that type of team to be disrespected like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Stepping up, and you saw towards the start of the game, there was a couple of charms, couple of recalls being thrown out, a little bit of BM from Ace, and the second Pain started to get a lead. They were more than happy to throw it straight back the other way. We do have a replay of one of the fights during that game, and this is a good example of Pain managing to capitalize on the situation that they found for themselves.
Yeah, this is the fight here where you can see the focus. Both got Atlas. The Gauntlet comes out. It separates the team. Glaive here had about 15 breaking point stacks, but didn't stay in the fight to win this. But Koshka is just so squishy. And look at the Grace Divine Intervention. It just heals up Vox so much, and he's able to stack his Bone Saw, his Poison Shift, and a breaking point stack, and allow him to carry so hard. Look at the damage coming out there. And Glaive just didn't stand a chance. He didn't have tier 3 boots. He couldn't stay on top of the Vox. And this is why Glaive was a very interesting pick or draft for Ace.
Yeah, and for me, this was something where Ace was trying to get away from what they excel at. We talked so much about before and after Game 1 of how Ace focuses on objectives. This is a composition that is purely designed to get kills and nothing else. This is not an objective-taking composition, and that is not the way that Ace Gaming plays the game. So as much as I love the fact that Pain Gaming took that game, I love the underdog story. This was primarily on Ace.
All right, well, we'll have to see if that continues to be the case as the day goes on, as the series goes on. It is one apiece, though. Our South American superstars are onto the scoreboard here against Ace, and the pick and ban is underway. We have Lorelei being banned away by Pain to start things off, and then Lyra is the response.
That's such an interesting ban there. It leaves Churnwalker open for Pain, though, so will Pain pick up the Churnwalker here? Because last time they picked Arden over Churnwalker.
I mean, if they do go for Churnwalker, though, that leaves Blackfeather open for Ace Gaming. That's a very dangerous pick to give over to Tasa. He will take it in the jungle and play it. STP would be devastating. So Pain Gaming, I wouldn't be surprised if they try to prioritize that Blackfeather pick instead.
Yeah, that's why I do like the Lyra ban there, because it does, as you mentioned, force either Churnwalker or Blackfeather. One of those two are going over to Ace Gaming most likely, but Pain throwing another wrench in the works, grabbing themselves the Vox. So Blackfeather, Churnwalker, so many strong picks available.
They're all being open because I think Ace is going to take the Kestrel here, because if they do not take the Kestrel, it will be banned by Pain. So are you going to go for the Churnwalker here, or are you going to take the Kestrel? Let's see what happens, because Arden, Blackfeather, Churn are all open, and this gives the B side actually a strength here, because you're going to get 2 of those picks.
They do opt for the Blackfeather, so again, you're expecting the Kestrel to be banned away, but like you just mentioned, Sweetjay, this puts Pain in a tough spot. As long as Ace doesn't ban either the Churnwalker or, well, they're going to ban the Churnwalker.
That is surprising.
I disagree with this so heavily.
I was going to say, if they leave both open, Pain has to ban Churnwalker or Kestrel. The other one gets through for Ace Gaming. I definitely agree there. The Churnwalker is a ban that's not the best perhaps, but they do go for it, meaning that they have something else planned against Pain Gaming.
The only thing I could see here is Pain Gaming leaving the Kestrel. If they decide to leave the Kestrel open, which I think would be a mistake for them, and have something up their sleeves that they feel like will be able to deal with it. But Kestrel, Blackfeather, you want to talk about flexibility. Both of those two can go either role, either build path, and have great success. So the Kestrel ban, it had to come out there.
I was going to say, the other thing that's still open as a captain hero, and that perhaps is the reason why they banned the Trimwalker, is because Arden is open, so they went for it. And now, like you mentioned, Sui just touched on it. Grace is open if Pain Gaming decides to go in that direction.
Rona as well could be something that comes out here in the jungle for the side of Pain Gaming.
That'd be surprising.
It would be surprising, but at the same time, you need something to deal with this Blackfeather, and Rona has been the only pick that we have seen that has consistently been able to go toe-to-toe with a Blackfeather.
You can do Grace and Koshka. Vox is a very strong composition that Pain can run here. And they can play Koshka, and with the Grace, that can put a lot of pressure onto this Blackfeather with the quick rotations coming from the Koshka and the Grace, the benediction that she can then use. Oh, they actually go with the Baptiste, and then will they go with the Grace here or switch it up?
And the difficulty for
Catherine, Baptiste Catherine is still open. That's a composition that used to be so strong a very long time.
Vox is always the one. Vox is always the carry that goes along with that.
I mean, predictions just bring so much CC out to the game, and that's why it used to be so strong. The Fearsome Shades with the Catherine silences, too many abilities to be blocked by the Crucibles that the opponent's captains would carry.
The reason why that kind of fell off and no one really plays it anymore, because Crucible got a buff. It's 1.5 seconds now in terms of the reflex block that it gives, so that's a 3-second reflex block to counter both the silence and the Fearsome Shade, and I think that's why this comp has not been picked as much, but Pain can try to run it and see if it could still work against Ace here and catch him off guard.
I actually think the reason why it fell off was because teams started knowing how to play ranged compositions against it. Things like the Sky, things like the Kestrel that can keep their distance, then run backwards when the initiations come through. With Blackfeather and Arden already picked up, that's not a choice.
There's also the fact that, you know, we've seen it's not going to come through as they do grab the Grace, but we had also seen the fact that it got banned away every single time. It got broken up all the time, and so teams just stopped running it because they knew they weren't going to be able to get it. So they do lock in the Grace for Pain Gaming. They really liked the Grace last game, just being able to stay alive that little bit longer. But now Ace Gaming have the option of, are they going to run this Blackfeather as a weapon power or Crystal? It all depends on the
They can also do Baron with the CP Blackfeather and just play the poke game and just jump around. And once someone's low, Blackfeather can go in and follow with the Baron jump jet onto that person, just burst them down before the can divine intervention. However, there's no poison share if they do decide to pick that composition.
I do think that would be a better choice for them, trying to pick up a Baron, play the range game instead of having a dive composition, because if you have a dive composition against a Vox, Baptiste, and Grace, that's 3 heroes that excel at kiting away and just keeping your opponents away from your carries. So I would prefer to see them go for something like the Blackfeather or even the Sky weapon power that we've seen from North American teams.
Definitely scary to go into.
Absolutely, you can see there Ace mulling over their options. We were commenting in the first draft of the day how decisive they were. The decision in the end will be the Samuel for Tassa, which means we're going to see the Blackfeather going weapon power in the lane as well, unless we see some craziness in a lane Samuel. Doesn't seem too likely to me.
I feel like the idea here and this composition for Ace is AoE damage with the Samuel, make it difficult for Grace to choose who she's going to put the divine intervention on. And if you're getting the splash damage, if you're getting 2 targets low, she can only divine intervention 1 at a time. Blackfeather can execute the second target before the first divine intervention finishes.
Yeah, I mean, until she gets Echo, but I do agree with you. The Samuel could very well work. However, I'm going to go with Pain Gaming when it comes to predictions, just because they have the Vox, they have the Baptiste, and Blackfeather, because of the Samuel, will have to be weapon power, so he's going to be diving and playing in that melee range.
All right, it's time to get on into this game. Predictions, gentlemen, as we go on in. Who is going to be taking this one? We'll start with you this time, Iraqi.
I mean, as I mentioned, Pain Gaming.
Pain Gaming?
I think Ace Gaming is going to be able to pick this one up. They're going to be refocused after that loss. All right.
I'm glad it's not 3-0. I love Pain Gaming's draft, but I have to give this to Ace because Tassa Samuel is awesome.
All right, we have 2 for Ace, 1 for Pain. We'll see if this one is going to pan out. It's time to pass it back up to Medic and Denominate and get on into this quarterfinal.
Thank you very much, Munch. And what a quarterfinal it is turning out to be. I don't think anyone expected Pain Gaming to be able to take a game off of Ace and not even to get the predictions of Iraqi's in this game too. Basically means they've already won it, right?
They very well could. have they turned things around and really kicked things into high gear for game number 2. And, you know, as you just mentioned, they won the vote there of Iraqi Zoro. You know, you're starting to swing some of the analyst desks. You made a huge statement, and you guys should really be proud of yourselves.
That is definitely true, and we'll have to see how they're able to play out this composition, because we have a lot of power picks on the side of Ace. You've got the Black Feather, you've got the Samuel as well. Tasper Samuel is known to be incredibly strong. We saw him beat TSM with it earlier on. We'll have to see how well it goes in this game. It's game 3 of our third quarterfinal of the day. Ace up against Pain. 1-1 is the scoreline. So we've still got at least 2 games of juicy action to go.
Yeah, we absolutely do. And as you just mentioned, you know, Tassa's Samuel has been a very strong pick for him. It's one that they really started using with the Kestrel in the lane. We were talking about the Mage and the Kestrel earlier, so we know he has experience on this hero. And creation on Black Feather, such a game-changing hero, is definitely scary to go into.
But we've seen Pain don't really care about the odds. They don't really care about how scary the enemy opposition is. They are very willing to take every fight that they can. No fight going to happen over the Elder Treant just yet. Both teams posturing towards it, but you're not going to see any action erupt. Ace Gaming are going to come back towards it, but still decide against it, and it's probably going to be a much slower start between these 2 teams in this game.
Yeah, definitely looking to be. The Baptiste will take a little bit of time to come online. He's going to get some crystal power, you know, getting towards that Shatter Glass is really where he's going to start to be a huge threat. If he's left alone early, I mean, you know, a couple crystal bits can be huge for a Baptiste if you're managing your soul shards properly. But when he's going to be able to come through and get those massive AoE burst damage, maybe that first tier 3 item completion is that huge spike. Whereas, you know, the Vox going to take a little bit more time. Samuel, he's going to have a very early spike in the level 2. He has that Drifting Dark. The way you play that hero from level 1 to level 2 changes very quickly, but throughout the mid and late game, he's going to need to get like 3 items online.
Creation's taking a bit of burst here from Muster and Falcon Dorian. In from the side is just No Ferrer, but Creation will be able to retreat back underneath the turret. Waiting on those first item spikes, really, for both these teams, but Tass is willing to trade into just No Ferrer. Holy Nova does come out to try and distract Ace Gaming, so Nesta popping that healing flask as well. Falcon Dorian's going to be re-engaged upon, and both teams incredibly low here, but neither team able to find that final shot, that final kill to get the first blood in this matchup.
Yeah, definitely not, but I do like, over on the side of Pain Gaming, as Sui had mentioned, he does like the draft. I do as well. I really like the combination of the Grace and the Vox that they had last game, and, you know, are they going to be able to pull off the same kind of feat? Are they going to be able to bring game number 3 to the side of Brazil and upset Ace Gaming?
Well, what is it that makes this combination so strong? Because both you and Iraqi Zoro have said, oh, I really like this draft from Pain Gaming because they've got the Vox, because they've got the Grace. But what is it about that combination that really stands out to you?
Well, the Black Feather specifically is very good at getting onto the back line and sticking onto that back line, able to get a lot of damage down, a lot of burst damage. The Divine Intervention that comes out of Grace is one key useful tool that she has, able to cut down some of that incoming damage by a percentage, as well as then also provide that big base heal at the end bit. You can get the Echo queued up again. It gives Vox the sustainability that he needs with a hero like Black Feather to dance around the fight, to build up the breaking point stacks, and then turn the aggression. You know, the fight might start with Vox on the back foot, those breaking point stacks start to build up, all of a sudden Black Feather's dead, Samuel's dead, Arden's dead. You can really have a game-changing impact with the Vox